Today we're going to be working on Chapter 4, Lesson 2, Graphing Ordered Pairs on pages 98 and 99. Let's do a little bit of review. Here we have the coordinate plane, and I know the coordinate plane has two axes. We've got the y-axis, and that goes up and down. And anything above 0 is going to be what? Positive. And anything that's below 0, anything that's going down, is going to be negative. Let's take a look at the x-axis. Alright, we just looked at the y-axis, which we know goes up and down. Here is the x-axis, and anything that goes from the center part to the right is going to be positive. It's going to be a positive number, including in this direction. And anything that goes from the 0 part, right here, to the left is going to be negative. So if we're counting right here, when you count over 3, it's going to be 1, 2, 3. It's going to be negative 3. So when we're graphing ordered pairs, we need to remember 3 specific rules. The first is that we always need to start at the origin point. And we know that the origin point is where the x-axis and the y-axis intersect. It's that middle part right there. That's the origin point. Then we need to go either left or right. So left is going to be a negative and right is going to be a positive. And then we have to go up or down. And if we're going up, it's going to be a positive. And if we're going down, it's going to be a negative. Let's see what I mean by that. So when I'm looking at this coordinate plane, I see a point, and we need to find out where exactly this point is located. So I know that rule number 1 says that we always start at the origin point. And so that's going to be this point right here where the two lines meet up or converge. And I know the second rule is we go left or right. So am I going left or right? I'm going right, obviously, right? And so now we need to count over how many spaces am I going. This is going to be 1 block, 2, 3, and I stop because I see that this dot is on this line right here, right? So we just counted over 3, and I'll put that right there. And then how many are we going to count up or down? Clearly it's down, so I'm going to count 1, 2. So I realized that when we zoom out a little bit, we counted over 3, and it was a positive 3, and then we counted down, and I know that's a negative, right? And if I'm confused about that, I can see that there's that negative 2 right here. I can bring that right over. And so our coordinate plan, or coordinate point, is going to be 3, comma, negative 2. That tells us exactly where this is on the coordinate plane. So let's find out where this point is on this coordinate plane. When I zoom in, I can see that it's to the left of the origin point. And we remember that rule number 1 is what? Always start at that origin point. So we're going to start right there. And then rule number 2 is figure out if you're going left or right. So we're going to go left. And let's count over how many boxes that is. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I know that 4 is going to be the number on the left. And then we need to count up or down. And because it's on this line, we can't count up. If we counted up, it'd be right there. But that's no good, right? We don't want that. That doesn't make sense. We can't count down. It's right there on the line. So it's going to be negative 4, comma, 0. The coordinate for this is going to be, let's see, negative 4, comma, 0. And there's one more thing that we need to remember is that the first number always stands for the x-coordinate, and the second number always stands for the y-coordinate. Let's try a few more of these. Alright, so I know that rule number 1 is what? Always start at the origin point, and then we got to go left or right, and we're not going left or right, so the first coordinate is going to be 0, and then we can put that in parentheses. And what about the second one? We're going to be counting up or down. Let's count up. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. Because we're going up, this is positive, so this is going to be open parentheses 0, comma, negative 3. That tells us exactly where this point is on this coordinate plane. Alright, let's find out what the ordered pair is for this particular point. When we zoom in, I can figure out right off the bat that we start off at the origin point. And I haven't mentioned this to you guys earlier, but this point, another word for it, is 0, comma, 0. This is 0, 0. This is the starting point. I now know that we need to go step 2, left or right. We know that, of course, we're going left, right? So I'll count over 1, 2. And because it's a negative, we know that it's going to be negative 2, And then negative 2 what? We got to count up. How many? 1, and this is positive. So the ordered pair for this is negative 2 comma 1. This is our answer. All right, so let's keep moving. We know that we've got to start at the what? Origin point. Rule number 2, are we going left or right? In this, we're going to be going left, so I'm going to count over. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can see that this is going to be negative 4. And then are we going up or are we going down? We're going down. So that's also going to be negative. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. So negative 4 comma negative 3. This is our answer. That's the ordered pair. So what are our expectations for you today? You're going to turn to page 99 and you're going to see a number of coordinate pairs. And I'm looking at 1, 2, and 3 right here. So what we need to do is find and plot A, B, and C. So when we look at A, I see it's 4, 4. I know that the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start right at our origin point, because we're always starting there. And then I'm going to count over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. And then what we do? We then count up 1, 2, 3, 4. And so when we zoom out a little bit, I know that we now need to put a little dot right there. And I'm going to write A. We just did number 1. Great. So let's take a look at number 2. It says B at negative 2, 2. So we always start at the origin point, and I'll zoom out so we can keep that on here. And when we do that, I know that we're going to go left or right. So this is a negative 2, so we're going to go to the left 2. 1, 2. And then it says positive 2, right? So we're going to go up or down. We're going to be going up because it's a positive 2. So I now know that this is our point, and I'll just draw a little dot on that intersection, and I'm going to write B. Finally, let's take a look at C. We're always going to start at the origin point, and it says negative 2, negative 4. So we're going left to right first. Negative 2, so again we're going to go into the left. And then it's a negative 4, so are we going up or down? We're going down because it's a negative, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this is it right there. Draw a little dot at that intersection, and I'll write C. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to work on questions 4 through 17. 16 and 17, of course, are cooperative learning. If you have any questions, let me know. Good luck. All right, so let's take a look at this. I know that the first thing that we need to do, obviously, rule number 1, we got the origin point. And then we got to figure out if we're going left or right. We're going to be going right. And I know sometimes when it's far away from the origin point, what helps me is sort of like eyeballing where it is. So I see it's right here. There's a dot. And I'm going to put a little line right there because that's going to tell me where I should stop. So I can simply go 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. So it's going to be 4. And then we got to go up, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 comma 4. So let's take a look at this one. We're going to start at the origin point, 0, 0, right? And then we got to figure out if we're going left or right. And we're going to be going left, 1, 2. So this is going to be negative 2. And then we're going to be going up or down, down, 1, 2. Because we're going down, this is negative, also negative 2. And another way I can sort of help me understand where we are is that this negative 2 right here, right? It's for this point and this point. So that's exactly, that's another way we can do it if we didn't want to count each specific box. That's another way that could help us. Here's another example. Let's take a look. If I zoom in, I know that we got to start at the origin point, and I'm going to start right there. And then we got to figure out if we're going left or right. So we're going to go left, and I'm going to count 1, 2, and because it's negative going to the left, it's going to be a negative 2. And then we're going to be going up or down. We're going down, so it's also going to be negative. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is going to be negative 4, and the answer is negative 2 comma negative 4.